Hello and welcome back to another bi-monthly Crossup podcast.
Not
We're
the
sorry for the
immediate
delay.
shade. That's crazy. Yeah, that's my bad. This is
Life happens.
This is Shuckle. I'm lucky. Unfortunately, as one of our posts had said, I have been very sick. And I don't sound like it now, but I had laryngitis. We're mostly back, but hey. So if I cough occasionally in your ear, that's because I wasn't quick enough on the mute button and I did not react to that overhead. My bad.
Nobody reacts to overheads because they're standing nowadays.
They are standing.
This podcast will be mostly fighting game philosophy. What makes a fighting game good? It's going to be mostly your personal preference as a new player starting out, or getting into the nitty gritty of details in a fighting game. And also, like, things to look out for from the developer side if you see it as a player. So what makes a fighting game good, right? It's if you see a clip of it or you're watching a stream of it, just tuning in, and you're like, that's amazing, I want to do that, right? That's in my eyes what makes a fighting game good. It's not so much the level of detail, the fidelity of particle effects, or, even the set play, right? Because the set play could be good and the game just doesn't feel great to play.
That's fair. So what you're saying is you like the visceral feeling of this shit's sick as fuck. I need to get in on that.
Absolutely. If you see Terry doing 3 Buster Wolves in the corner, you best believe people are going to want to do 3 Buster Wolves in the corner.
That's fair. That's fair. If you had to pick a game or a set of games that you look at and immediately go, like, what's your go-to example of a video game that does that, a fighting game that does that?
For me, it's usually UMVC3, but lately it's been BlazBlue Central Fiction, and it's mostly just the Azrael, was it 6C cancel into the corner, just constantly kicking you with his coated foot because he can't get his shoes dirty. I love that. I love seeing that combo. And there was a recent tournament, I believe. Azrael was in the finals.
Oh, was there?
Which is phenomenal because most of the community rates him low on the roster.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the bullshit that some of the other characters do. He's not throwing around wind and a staff that can just attack you. Yeah,
we can't all be 9.
Azrael, the honest gorilla. Yeah, okay.
I enjoy me an underdog. But it does make a fighting game good when a character like Azrael can show up to a tournament and still be, outperforming some of the other roster.
Yeah,
but that gets a bit more into the technicality of like the tier lists and all that from the higher up players.
True. It is always surprising to me when you have an older game like BBCF where a character who's not highly rated performs well in any event, because we're getting a little off topic, but there's always a lot of tier list discussion now. And let's face it, in modern fighting games, this is the most balanced you're ever going to see, like, fighting games in the history of fighting games, right? You go back to an old game like Third Strike, and there's a big discrepancy between the tiers. Now, so not so much. But yeah.
Me being a Dudley enjoyer from SF3, yeah, no, there's a big discrepancy.
Yeah, massive. For me,
but at least you look cool.
For me, I was gonna say Dudley is a sick motherfucker. He's so cool.
And then he calls you trash in the corner. You hold it.
He does.
Bring him back, Capcom. Bring him back.
Cowards,
absolutely.
I like to think, I actually I've been thinking about this for a while. What makes a fighting game good? And I think it's kind of a myriad of things. As a lot of you may or may not know, I am by far I'm not a technical player at all. So, lengthy combos don't really matter to me. But I think it comes down to the overall crunch of the hits. Because I was thinking about this recently. There's some games I've looked at that are like very aesthetically pleasing to me, that I look at them as a spectator and I'm like, this game is sick. And then I play the game and the hit feedback just isn't quite right. The speed of the game just doesn't really feel right. or it's too floaty. There's a lot of things, and it's game feel is one of those vague intangibles that preference differs from person to person. And I think that's one of the beauties of fighting games. I just kind of a cop out answer, right? Where, the game feels good to you depending on who you are, kind of thing. But I think that's probably my number one. If I'd have to pick my line in the sand option, though, that makes a fighting game good, it's diversity. It's diversity in options, whether it's game mechanics or characters, stuff like that. And let's talk about BBCF since you brought it up. I was gonna go to Strive, but that's just because
BBCF has a
my
very decent amount of diversity in it, so I'm super cool with that.
Yeah, I mean the thing with BBCF is not only does it have a ton of system mechanics that let you experiment from character to character, but each character has their own built-in character mechanic, right? It's not just they have their own specials or
every character has like a little gauge above their bar for building up meter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They've all got their own little drive function, and that's another thing I like about Uni. Every character has their own force function. Every character has their own unique way with interacting with the system mechanics, and I think that is extremely fucking neat. I think allowing players to find a way to express themselves freely, whether it be through like combo expression, like do I go for the harder combo? Do I go for the reset combo? Do I do this specific thing in neutral with this specific game mechanic that only this character can do? Just having those options in a game is good. More options is always better, in my opinion, than restricting a player. I've said this with, accessibility features in all games. I've said this with just general game features in all games, and I feel the same way about fighting games. The game that allows you to have the most options to play the way you want and express yourself the way you want is just like, it's just a good thing in a good game.
Wow, that was beautiful. I have a tear coming out of my face.
I know, I'm amazing, aren't I?
Every once in a while, us FGC players can pull something out of our ass, and it's the most beautiful sounding thing in the world.
And it's usually put up gauge.
It's command grab on wake up.
All FG players want to do is command grab
SDP.
on wake up and lie.
All right, every character gets an SDP. We're beating around the bush.
Finally.
Finally. My zoner can now command grab. You're all fucked.
Oh, you're approaching me? Well. Do I have a surprise for you? Why is he turning butter?
Yeah, I do think that having more options is always phenomenal in fighting games. Even for like new players, right? Having the auto combo is still a good option sometimes. I think in DBFZ they actually do make use of the auto combo in like niche situations to just make it happen a little bit faster, right? Because sometimes the inputs are a little wacky with command normals.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice to have. And speaking of combos, since you're bringing it up, Shuckle.
Combos are important.
They're very important, but so is being able to, as a developer, giving your players the ability to feel the satisfaction of absolutely deleting a motherfucker with the sickest in-game sound effects or screen flashes or however they decide to give you your feedback. Personally, I've always been a very, very big fan of an announcer screaming into my ears. Again,
Ultra combo! Right. It is very good.
I was thinking counter, but yes, that too.
I mean, nothing's ever going to be Killer Instinct.
No,
it's been how many years since the first one was released, and we still haven't made something better.
Still haven't made a better ultra, combo breaker ultra. Yeah, they're good.
They're really good. And you know what's even more wild to me? Back in the day, dudes would just go to the arcade and you'd hear it blasting from outside. You're not even like a mile within the store. You just hear combo breaker, and you just like, that sounds hype. I want to go check that out.
That shit's crazy.
It advertises itself.
It does. I remember the left speaker. I think it was the left speaker on the arcade cabinet in a local arcade.
It's vibrating. You got the cool air blowing. Yeah,
it was literally going. It was bouncing off of the cage. It was broken, and it was the sound it made was so crisp. And every time, I just got chills because I was over there playing like VR on Mars or whatever the hell it was called. It was some like mech game, and I'm in there piloting my mech, and all of a sudden the ground just trembles, and my controls start to like get moist. It's just ultra, and I'm like, Jesus, this shit's so loud.
It's the best.
That's all I need. All right, we're gaming.
Yeah, being aware of what's appealing to anybody is, and it's just generally like a simple thing. Sometimes it makes a fighting game go from like good to like amazing.
Absolutely.
Simple things like meter cancels, burst bars. Like name of air dashing, right? Just simple like movement stuff. Even it's so
just one more day.
Vital.
Just one more
in fighting games these days.
Okay.
Absolutely. And granted, not every game needs that. Street Fighter still to this day does not have a air dash per se.
I learned anything about Strive,
but it's still like a good option. Like if they made another character that had an air dash, I don't think people would be too upset about it.
Nothing. No, I mean they had like what Ibuki. I mean not that they really had necessarily air dashes.
Right. I mean Vega is going to come back at some point and flip from side to side, right? And we're going to be like whatever. But
yeah, maybe
it'll happen. But it's. The point being is like movement options are beautiful, and like not every game needs to have wave dashing in it, but it still feels really cool when you go from one side of the screen to the other really fast.
Yeah, when you're like animation canceling one way to there's something oddly satisfying about that, both as a spectator and as a player. As a player, it's a rhythmic thing, I think, for me at least. But as a spectator, watching somebody cha-cha slide to the right while somebody's super jumping and an assist is coming in. There's something about that visually that's so interesting.
Backstepping the DP on Wake Up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's sick. Backstep, wave dash assist.
No, I didn't want
to. I think fantastic. I was trying to avoid saying this, but it keeps eating at the back of my mind. You have to have cool character designs. You have to have character designs that bring people to have a good fighting game. Like you can have the sickest mechanics, and I don't wanna throw shade at any one game, but there's an indie game that came out recently. It's been paying some of these content creators to sponsor them and talk about them. They've been on Patreon for a while. Their game's fun. It's got a retro throwback vibe, but not gonna lie, most of their character designs are kinda ass.
See if that fixes it.
The aesthetic is cool. It's that pixel aesthetic. It's got everything going for it. Impact frames, everything. But the character designs are just not it. And for that reason alone, even though everything else looks super cool, I'm not touching that shit. I'm strictly not touching that shit. I mean, I might for a video, but I won't play it outside of that. But you know what I mean, right?
Right. No, absolutely. So the design of a character is more of the character's personality in a fighting game than anything else. Like the story mode, voice lines, none of that matters as much as the character's design, right?
Absolutely.
And like you see the character, and between different games, right? You see characters coming out with new designs. You know, it's the same character. Like, why did they change them up so much? It's because you need to have your character progress as a character.
Exactly.
And that comes out in design and gameplay mostly.
When you react to
that harkens back to the arcade era too, right? Because when you had all these
back in our day, we had Ryu 1 and Ryu 2, and there was just Ryu and Ken, and they're the same character. But yes,
I mean that might have been before me, but yeah.
A little before us.
Why are we backdashing when I'm buffering?
When you're vying for attention, right, in an arcade, you have a few options to grab people's attention. You can be the loudest cabinet.
I haven't installed my mods.
That's one of the things. You can be the loudest cabinet. The other is you have to have striking visuals and striking characters to lure people over to try your shit. And that's what fighting games live or die by. Because what do they have?
Or in the case of Mortal Kombat, you can invent the ESRB rating system.
True, they do have their
fun fact of history.
They do have their claim to fame with that because they were so brutal.
Yeah, brutal back in the day. Oh, he ripped his spine out. That's so unethical.
So
against the Geneva Convention. Yeah.
Fast forward a couple decades.
I thought I wouldn't get.
Now they're now they're scooping through the sternum of your chest and playing basketball with your head. Yeah, it's it's gone up a notch or two.
Yeah, it's definitely the same.
There's
So
no
it's like
way.
apples.
That
to
was
I wonder if
apples.
the
It's
ESRB
your
would rate it
face.
T now back in the day. It's an interesting.
Bolt-on split.
Maybe. That is
But,
that is super interesting. I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, for example, I'm a prime example of this.
All right.
Boy,
The whole character aesthetic and look thing.
on guarded.
I mean, I was not willing to play fighting games seriously until
Oh,
Uncle showed me the trailer for Guilty Gear Strive, and I saw how sick everything looked and
more
how
rollbacks
sick the
taking away
characters
my
look, and
hits.
then I started trying out other games
wasn't
before that came out. And look at me now, doing a freaking fighting game podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
No longer a Smash player.
no longer smashing Siege player. Yeah. Damn.
It's an improvement.
Man, dude, I was
I'm gonna
done with
get
Smash
this.
when Ultimate came out, anyways. Ultimate was
You
the
were
game.
you were cooked on the mental.
Yeah, I was miserable.
You were mid.
There was no mix.
Let's save that for another time. I don't need to get crossed up in the corner by Smash Ultimate. Fucking samurai shit right
On
now.
my screen, overhead book.
Cool guy.
Cool guy.
I really should watch his videos at some point.
impressive.
One of these days.
At least done with YouTube.
Alright, switch sides.
Yeah, I honestly, for me, I love seeing long, in-depth combos.
It was
I do
inside.
think that there is
It's not
a
like it was
line
the
that needs to be
startup
drawn
phase.
between,
You were
a
fucking
combo
my chest
outright
cavity
doing,
with your
70%
That's
plus,
how
and,
good
a
it is.
combo just being like, all right, that was sick. Let's go back to neutral.
Otherwise, why the fuck would I burst there?
So let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Do you have a gripe with a combo that's like
Good
20
match
seconds
analysis.
long, but does like,
Why-
let's
why
say
you did
50%, 60%?
Oh, this stage will make it so much better.
Would that bug you, or would you be like, that was dope?
I think
Monkey time.
if I'm on the receiving end, I'm like, damn it, I fucked up.
Choke.
I should have blocked. I should have chicken guarded. Chicken guarded being jumping and blocking to
Yeah.
not, deal with the high-low mix. I should have, done I-frame super or push block. Like, you realize you fucked up in the moment you fucked up, unless it's
Just get
visually
rid of this
ambiguous, like
That's one damage at this point.
Piccolo's Hell's Grenade back in the day,
Right.
where he would throw Hell's Grenade, and you just don't know what's happening. Trux is on screen, mixed.
It is in fact not better.
You gotta hold it, but I do think like I enjoy still seeing it and be like, oh, that's sick, or you got those sick. All right, I know I need to watch out for that in the next round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like
My
mental stack awareness mid game.
Interesting.
But I do think if a combo is 20 seconds long, you
My
should
apologies
see,
for that.
close to 40 to 50% of a player's life bar go out, right? Which I
That's
think
actually
for
fair.
most healthy characters in games, that's pretty on
Why
par.
not get guard crushed by every fucking
That's fair.
time?
Milia Rage is like that, right? She could whip out like a
They
20-hit combo and do half
Didn't
your
nerf
life bar.
that like I
Yeah,
wanted.
but she's not going
So-
for
She,
20
she's not
seconds, though.
she's not an offender.
Nah.
Uh,
No, I mean most
but-
Guilty Gear characters, you're doing
that's
a
the
1
wrong
to
button.
4
Oh
second
my God.
combo, and you're doing
oh,
Unless you're watching the
70%.
movie from a zoner, you're pretty much yeah.
Yeah, their combos aren't that long in Strive. I was thinking
I
in
don't
the
even know
future
why you
here we
bother,
got like
doing
Project L or some of those
2D
combos
and
are pretty long. They're not
what's
20
it
seconds
called?
long, but
The overhead.
I
I mean,
think
20
that the
seconds is
issue with
just
lengthy
fucking
combos
throw
and tag
cubes
fighters
from full
comes from
screen.
tag ins
That's-
mid combo to
Isn't
extend
that
the
just
combo.
easier?
right, active
And you
tags.
No, that's
see
just
that in
really the
Infinite
flip
as
fast
well.
staff.
No, you can.
An amazing game series falling on a flat note.
That's okay.
We're
Maximilian
teleporting
dude's here to
too
save
much
it.
for me to do anything there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But yeah, for me, as much as I
Honestly?
love Strive and I love the big damage combos and the super chunky hits and everything, I found in recent times since I've been playing Uni and Street Fighter and Melty Blood and trying other games, I like the 12 hit, 14 hit combos that do 35, 40%. Because
That's fair. I mean, it's a little on the low end for number of hits,
We
but yeah,
teleport,
that's
we
fair.
teleport.
Yeah, I think
gaming.
that range. I mean,
Okay,
think about
yep,
it this way.
mhm,
Essentially,
definitely
in that
backdash
block,
there. Mhm.
what you're doing is you're cycling or rotating between
Time.
2 or 3, possibly 4 different B&Bs or
Oh my
chunks
god,
of a
it let
combo
me
that you're
rush.
going to use across
It
different
let me.
combos.
It let
But,
me actually dash
You
FD
know, it just depends on what
in
your
this
starter is.
environment.
but it's not like
It also depends on like if you're spending meter for it too.
Yeah,
That actually does
absolutely.
matter a lot in the health of a fighting game. If you're spending like no meter for it, like it's Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom,
Sexy during the moment.
it might be a problem. Luckily in that game everyone's a problem, so it balances itself out.
I like this video game.
Fair. I think
Why?
Uni kind of cracked the code on that. I mean, you're doing
My
3,000 damage on average with a regular BNB no meter. That's like, you put a little bit of time into. Or you can do more than that with
Okay,
no
so
meter
changing- the mods
sometimes
didn't
if you
do it.
really
I
grind
lied
out
to
the, and optimize it. And then some characters, if
I
you're
really
using full
thought the
meter
mods were the issue
and
after last
doing
time.
like a good
But maybe
combo
it's
with
just,
a good starter, you can get
the
6k,
whimsy
north of
of
6k
good old
damage.
Arxis is,
Which, if you don't know, is
really
closer
appealing
to,
here.
what, 70%?
Fuck, why didn't you come
Right,
closer?
so-
Ooh, okay, so characters have like 9k in that game.
I
What am I missing?
could be
Have 9 to 10k.
wrong. I just know that 6k is not an insta kill and that it's, or is it? Am I wrong?
Every game has different
Yeah,
HP
they
values.
all got different values.
Which everyone in Strife has the same HP. It's just a matter of
Was that
how
made
much
up make
guts
a wish
you have.
combo? I just
Yeah,
did.
the
Which is really
defense
wacky.
rating and the guts.
Shit wasn't
yeah.
even real.
Yeah, it's not even like a difference in HP.
That's my bad. I tried to jump. Oh, okay.
Oh, Pat.
I don't.
Grab
Daisuke's vision. I was gonna say I don't know why they did it that way. I'm just gonna say Daisuke's vision.
I mean, it's fine.
It is.
You don't have to mess around with numbers forever,
Yeah, characters have like
Good
10k
video game.
health in that game.
Yeah, it's not like Ultimate Marvel where it's like Thor has like
Okay.
1.1 million HP.
Yeah, why inflated at that point?
And Akuma's sitting there at like 640 or like 720.
I don't know. Sometimes,
Every other character's more around
is
900 except for Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun values.
Ah, I can't even
Yeah, so Strive is in like 400s, Uni's in like 10k, and then Marvel's in like a million. Got it. Awesome.
No,
Makes
I know,
sense.
Marvel-
I would love to be able
It's
to
very
challenge
interesting how they go about numbers. But I guess it depends how they round up damage from designing the game, right? Because you can't use single digits or double digits, really,
Rubik's
right?
Cube have an
Not
artist.
practical.
That'd be toxic.
You know,
Right. The more numbers you have at the end of that, the more you kind of
leave
tinker
Oscar
around
alone.
values.
Oscar's
So
not
I get
bad.
why
It's
some
fighting
games are
Oscar
like that and
when
some games
everything's fucking teleporting because of the rollbacks.
No, that's fair.
And you're getting hit confirms and counters.
But
so
I
you're taking
do
over
think.
It is
How many other
infuriating.
games
I
have
don't know how to
100
play
O
video games on a
combos
daily basis
since
like that.
2010?
Because I would actually
there's
go mad.
Touch
If I
attacks.
Ultimate
played a
Marvel.
video game
Yeah,
in
they're
video
like
games
actual
in
TODs.
like
Oh, there's a ton.
mid-2000s, I would have actually gone to
So
a bank and
basically
shot
all the
everybody
Arxis
up.
games.
I swear.
Grand Blue has them. Dragon Ball
I
has
would have
them.
subjected myself to
Strive has
Insane,
them.
bro.
Rev 2 has them.
Yeah, but you're
I
not
don't think
playing
Dragon
the
Ball
game,
used
that's
to
my
have
point.
them. That's the funny part. I think they
actually
patched
playing the game?
more TODs in than they
I
got.
mean, I am to the best of my
Yeah, maybe not on
abilities.
launch, but they definitely have
You're not.
TODs.
You're-
I remember
you have to
back
simplify
when,
everything,
yeah,
guess,
yeah,
all the
they've
time.
they've had TODs
You're
for a
not
while. Because I
actually
remember when
reacting
Vegito
to
just
things
came
and
out, they were
fucking
like they
playing the
found
actual
hella
video game.
TODs. Go takes two.
Playing like
So there was definitely some.
Even base form
version of the
Goku.
game.
I'm
Base
sure.
form Goku with the Spirit Bomb was
The Spirit
TODing people.
Bombs,
Silly
yeah.
little
Yeah, the
things
Spirit
like
Bomb had
those.
very insane scale.
Oh, can't even follow up on my.
As it should.
As it should. Earth, lend me your power.
It's okay.
Trying to
It's
think.
okay.
Other
as long
than,
as
I
just
mean, there's
guess right
TODs
all
in
the
Street
time,
Fighter. Right? There's
it's,
TODs on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Ah.
no, wait.
Oh,
That
okay.
recent challenge was not.
You know
a
what that
TOD.
was by any chance?
Is there
That was a
TODs? I
fucking
thought there
close
was, but
slash
maybe not.
into a jump.
No,
It's
on counter hit
close.
scaling, there's close. I think
That's what
Terry's
that-
probably
yeah,
the
it's close.
closest, and then probably Akuma.
Let's say I know Bison. On
Maybe followed by
is
Bison, yeah.
really
It's mostly
close.
the DLC characters. Street Fighter 6.
Shocker.
Imagine.
Absolute shocker.
The base game's great.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know my dash.
Trying
But
Dashes are.
the only other thing I can think of is
Pussies.
a command grabs being too strong. You know,
Where?
that's another issue in some fighting
Where?
games.
I know what I mean.
Where
He's uninstalling.
this Potemkin guy really hit me down to 30% from a full HP
It's
bar.
fine. He needs it.
He's getting armor. He needs it.
I don't even play Potemkin. He's fine. Listen, all I'm gonna say about the season 4 patch for Guilty Gear Strive is they're tuning everybody up. We don't know how fucked up it's gonna be. It'll be all right. It's gonna be super fun. That's
Oh,
all
it'll
that
be
matters.
chaos.
It's gonna be.
I'm
great.
excited. I'm excited to see all these people get new toys, and Slayer just gets like more 5K conversions, whatever. It's like cool.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm excited to see them still say I'm carried. When they're
They
losing.
they didn't show.
They absolutely will. Everyone has a character.
Yeah, they didn't
It's not
show
theirs.
everything in the patch trailer.
No, I don't think they did either.
No, I know they didn't because I watched the Dizzy gameplay today, and it had Ram and Faust fighting her, and there was stuff they didn't show with Ram in the trailer, like her Rekka can guard crush now, and it overheads,
Oh, that's exciting.
and her flip overheads.
That's fine. You can interact with Rekka.
Yeah, well,
It's fine.
it's slower now too, so you can interact with it even.
Oh,
better.
it's even better. I love it.
Yeah. So
She
there-
needs it,
there's a lot of
and I need it
changes.
too.
Yep.
But no, and then we have Zangief by comparison, where it's not 70% of your life bar, but it feels like it, right? He grabs you once, and he's got the 5-finger discount after that, because now you're flipping a coin.
Yep. And that's even with the modern nerf to damage too. He still hits like a fucking truck. For sure.
I don't play modern. I jump cancel those air grabs.
It's fine.
I love them. It's the only character I can actually do it on too. It's interesting.
On the Geef?
On the Geef, yeah. I don't do jump cancels on anyone else really. Grabs.
You know what's funny? I couldn't reliably do the Geef grab in Street Fighter 6, but then when I got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I forced myself to learn it so I could do the Geef air grab and ground grab, and now I could do it in Street Fighter 6.
You can breathe fire in that game too. It's wonderful. That's the best form
Awesome.
of Geef. He has a
Yep.
flamethrower.
He's metal and he breathes fire. It's great. Got it, Marvel.
Yeah, wait, is there any other more recent games though? It's kind of bothering me. I guess it just ends at Dragon Ball Fighters, huh?
For
Because I don't think Showdown had one. I don't think Soul Calibur. Well, Soul Calibur 6 is very close to a TOD, but it's usually with like certain stages for wall splats, right?
who was the jackass with the two floating blades? The bad guy, Azrael, is fucking Azazel or some shit. He had a TOD, I thought.
Algol?
Algol, yeah.
I almost called him Al Gore.
I would have believed you. It's okay. Pretty sure he had a TOD. No, yeah, I mean, but yeah, Grad Blue TODs.
Habit forming names.
There's recent. There's DNF dual TODs.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
this is recent.
Algol's combo routes in more recent Soul Caliburs because I don't remember. Everyone was insane in 4. And then 5 came along. We had a lot of the same characters. I don't remember seeing him as much in 5 because people didn't play him as much.
Listen to this old head.
Yeah, I know. And then we have
I think
6, and I'm
this
very removed from
game
6 as everyone else because it never made it
unless-
outside of
I have an even better
COVID.
idea. If we're gonna
Yeah,
teleport,
we're games
The dark
meant to die.
times.
let's just
Yeah.
play the most ignorant.
bummer. Soul
fucking
Calibur deserved better.
Wi-Fi abusing piece
I
of
think Soul
shit
Calibur
character
6 deserved
I
better.
can-
And then they released Hilde as a
Yep.
DLC, and we all
Yep.
said no.
Imagine trying to block
No,
the
thank
mix
you.
when you
No, thank you. We remember Hilde.
What are they
She
doing?
was
Are they
face
high?
buster.
Are they low?
Goofy.
It's
So
gonna
emo.
it's gonna
But,
take you
I-
1,200 years to get in on you.
I do
and
think
then,
that some
you know,
games
actually
design
get
characters
on
better
you
than
and play
others,
the
even in
game.
the same archetype.
Agreed.
It'll
It-
be really
it's
funny
kinda
when
sad.
Both of us are like, "Where's
I mean, if you're a
Emo?" Like,
grappler player, you're going to play
Press
grapplers in most of
cover
your
dash
fighting
300
games because you
frames
just
ago, it
enjoy
just came
grabbing
out.
people.
And
It's
you'll be
funny.
like, "All right,
Yeah, that
game."
glue runs deep. Tell you
The
what.
glue runs, dude. I gotta put my hands in your pockets. I don't know what's in there, but I'm gonna find
Oh,
out.
look, I got counted.
Oh, look at all this damage.
Oh, is that some
Sitting here-
pocket lint? Let me nibble on it.
Sense.
Yeah.
Old versus
Yeah.
Lewis.
I
But
get.
no, I'm
I
players.
understand. I understand.
I
But
wish
the
I could
medals
play
go
that.
up.
You have
I don't
no
care
idea
how
how
low
much
tier
I
she
love
is. Look at the medals.
I'm happy I can
There's
back
5
that
of
thing on Slayer
them.
now.
Look at that damage.
That's like the
Yeah.
biggest bug. I do think that Street Fighter does one thing very well. It's that their zoners
faster at the start.
are not inherently bleh, dominating mid-screen. Which is hard for a lot of fighting games to balance.
Current way it is.
BlazBlue originally had a very big issue with Arakune and Lambda just running around and having mid-screen advantage constantly.
Right, like being good at round start position and full
Overhead,
screen.
overhead, overhead, overhead.
That's what I'm saying.
And set, yep.
Yeah,
Do this shit all
yeah,
day.
that
Yep,
shit's
yep, yep.
annoying. I agree.
No, it's
That's.
so
I think that's an anime fighter game issue, though, more so than like a non-anime fighter game issue, with these zoner type
Fair enough.
characters where they just naturally excel.
I
at
would
round
agree with
start
you,
and
except in
round-
Soul Calibur 5 we had a character called, was it Ophelia? With her orb?
No,
That's
And she was the
awesome.
closest Soul
16s.
Calibur 5 had to a
His life
TOD,
depends on-
because she could two-touch
Oh,
you.
okay. Wow,
Her combo string was absurdly long, they had to nerf it like 3 times.
JS.
Was she a zoner?
But she was a zoner. She could throw the orb out, and then the orb could move back and
Oh
hit
my
you.
god. Oh.
She could, she could
Thank
recall
God
it and
my
hit you
low
with something
profile
else.
cubes
She had a lot of
Get
options.
low profile.
And the worst part is that she had like normal hits in between, so if she left the orb there, you still had to think about it.
That's gross. That's like Minot from Street Fighter, where she can throw the orb, call it back, and
Yeah,
hits you on the way back.
almost 1-to-1. Yeah, I think 2D versus 3D difference. But with that being said, it's kind of like
my dumbass.
zoners will always exist in fighting games because you
Okay.
can't just
I don't know why happened.
mash face
Fucked up my
constantly. You need a character that has some form of range.
True.
Sticks.
And
Although-
that's fine.
6 feet.
Oh yeah, it
Although-
does that.
These gear players, though, they might say otherwise.
These guys with guns in my fighting games are really ruining the feeling of punching someone in the face. I do agree. And it does seem counterintuitive to have someone with a gun in a fighting game.
Recount her.
That's
But is
what
it fun? It can be.
It can be. Well, that's why they
It
usually
absolutely
do gun
can
fu, right? Instead of like actually.
Gun
shooting
fu is the
bullets.
greast invention ever.
I was on the-
John
just
Woo
do
in my
it.
fighting game is beautiful.
Just play Noel Vermillion. You'll be fine.
With her
I did not know.
yo-yo
that. It's supposed to be-
pistol, yeah, and her
Somehow
shotgun
it does.
flips.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good time. That's crazy.
It's a good time. It really is.
Nobody gets upset with
Um,
you.
Noelle was a massive issue in Continuumship, and then after that, she was kind of balanced out against
Sure.
the rest of the cast. She still played relatively the same too, which is wild.
That is kind of nuts, actually.
To have a character play exactly the same at like their more
I was so
improper
close.
version.
And for
It's kind of like the Piccolo effect.
And for
This week's
what?
villain, next week's ally.
This week's villain, next week's ally. This week's stepdad. You know,
Yeah,
Piccolo things.
so crazy.
Still waiting for Soul Dad guy.
Chad, this might be it.
He's coming.
Oh my
He's
God.
in the Twitch chat
Bucks?
typing.
Hyping. What is Riz?
Oh my god, that was wall
I'll
break.
break.
What do you?
What is this gooning and can I RC it?
Why are you? What does gooning mean, and why are you doing it to my
Wow,
wife?
counter hit roll backed again. Ah, this game's so good.
All right.
Back on
Okay.
track.
Wow.
Should have done
We need an
super.
intermission noise for this fucking
Do, 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 do.
do 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 do. It's just from Fallout.
So fucking bad.
But a lot of these characters, these range zoners, these high DPS grapplers, these combo monsters, right? They're not really balanced around the normal player because the developers are normal players. We have to keep this in mind. The developers made the game, they tested everything they possibly could find. But at the end of the day, the game is still going to be balanced around weird interactions and pro players just
What the-
full sending it to really ruin someone else's day.
See, I would almost agree with you,
save
except
all my
there's so
guns.
many times where there's patch notes and the pro players who be playing the game are like, what the fuck are the devs thinking? This has nothing to do with the issue. And then it's always
I
the
got
same
caught.
story, right? Like when Zangief got nerfed recently. Zangief was not the
He
problem.
still got
and he got
or
fucking
second place.
nerfed.
He got second
Yeah,
place
he got
at, was it Capcom Cup? I'm trying to remember which Street Fighter tournament it was. It was a
I
Capcom
think so.
sponsored one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was part of the world tour. My bad. But
Yeah, Daigo got ace.
everybody
I
was
remember
like,
that one.
what the fuck? Why are we nerfing Zangief? And it's like, well, you know, the scrubs are complaining. Like everybody's very vocal on Twitter and pissed right now. And then the Japanese players are just not happy about this shit. So like Zangief got shot. But it's the same
That's
thing with
fine.
it's the same thing with Arxis, right? Because here in the West,
Man, I
people are
wish.
complaining all the time about Ramlethal.
Oh,
Always complaining about Ramlethal. And in Japan, they're like, this character's so ass, bro. What's your problem? So Ram like never got shot until her run speed nerf, and even then, it wasn't like a real
It's not as bad as Viking. Oh boy.
right. But that's the thing. That's the thing.
Viking get a nerf when
just
she's not
60.
even winning.
So yeah, I don't feel like the developers are, especially Eastern developers, I don't feel like they're really
I-
listening to.
Man,
what
isn't that a
games
good
that
universe
are-
change coming? That from the developer side, it's a lot of throw it against the wall and see what sticks,
I
right?
doubt it.
Because sometimes
Yeah,
you just
I'm
don't know what's going to fix the game.
Yeah, and it's also
And
like,
that's
how do we
fair.
bring in new
Anything to
players?
turn the
How do we
dial
bring
down.
in
How
new
do you
players and
balance
keep
every
people?
character interaction with every other character and make the matchups like as close to 50 as possible? Right. It's not like a black and white kind of thing. It's a gray
No,
area the entire
definitely not.
time.
And you always have to have matchups that are slightly favorable one way or the other. But as long as you have a clear image of where you want to go with your game, and you actually like.
Hey
put in the
Capcom,
time
please
to
nerf
test-
Rashid. He's been around a minute. You can nerf him now.
Just shoot the level 2. It'll be fine.
Just shoot the level 2. Give him the Ed treatment.
Yeah, just shoot the level
My
2.
bad.
Life will be fine.
Also, my bad. Jesus.
That's all.
It
we're
is
asking.
wild that they hit Ed and just ignored Rashid. They do the same thing pretty much. That's just cool looking. Oh man. But I do think that like pro players will like with Zangief, right? Let's continue on the Zangief train.
Yeah. I
You
really thought about that.
can input a jump cancel on your SDP, so it'll cover I think like 33% of the options on hard knockdown.
Mix up. No, mix up.
And so if you don't get it, you'll just jump. And then you can block after that.
Was it Snake Eyes that was talking about that one?
Yeah, I
While
believe
ago?
so.
Yeah.
It's insane, and I don't think they got that out of the
This
game
game's-
yet or anything. That's still a
this
thing you
game's
can
so
do.
fucking good old.
So yeah, be very
It's
careful
not
of
even this
Zangief
game,
on
it's just not
hard
fucking
knockdown.
games. I mean, as you should be, because that's the blender.
That's the
I
blender.
played
Yeah,
it
you're
early.
still like
There,
you're not
so
actually
I played
taking
against
your
the
turn
beef,
yet.
It would be like
So
full screen,
he's in
and
hits.
then the game would freeze. That's and what's all so of a sudden they were right fascinating in front about of me. like
Were you there for that shit?
fighting games with like risk reward in
Mm.
general.
Sometimes
Because
Discord
if you're
actually
in that
catches robots, so it's
situation,
perfectly
you're
normal.
constantly playing mind games,
No,
constantly
this one
guessing.
wasn't.
And it's not just like,
robots.
okay,
This shit
is he gonna
was-
grab me or
This
is he
was
gonna
some
strike me?
diabolical connection.
There's more to it than that. What does he
That shit
gain
was
off the
crazy.
grab here? What does he gain? off the
Right.
strike
What do
here?
you gain off throwing out the meaty on wake up
Right.
versus safe jump
Okay,
and
read
block?
everything.
Assuming your game
All
has
I
jump
know
and
is from what I
blocks.
saw from
Street
the
Fighter does.
video, and
I
then
see Zangief has no drive gauge
Faust
left.
and
He's only
Rambo
got
Disney
2
stuff.
blocks, right? If he goes for an SPD here and I don't die, he has to use drive gauge again to get on me. He's going to be put in burnout.
I forgot how
Does he
many
just
those
go for the
much
meaty?
was.
I
Or
learned
does he do
today
an
how
anti-jump?
absurdly
Like,
tanky
so those are like
Anti-Veto
things
is.
to think
Very
of and be
concerning.
aware of. And, it's
And I
like,
believe he still has
Even
armor on
more
full charge
tanky
heavy,
now.
right?
yeah.
Even if he's in burnout.
I don't care.
Yeah, so he still has that option too. That's
Does
another
he?
thing you have to think about. It's like,
I'd have to
even
fact
though
check
he's
that.
in burnout and you have advantage,
Like, he
he
already
can
was,
still
like,
hold
had
the
so
button.
much
for
guts.
Holy fuck. Yeah, he's a big. he's a
It's
big boy.
scary.
And he can
And
schmix.
Zangief is a very scary character, and he
Yeah,
deserves the
he's-
nerfs he got.
I don't
Call up
know.
Just because of what you can theoretically do with him, he did deserve the nerf. But you gotta remember,
Don't any
not every
potions.
grappler is like
They
that.
took
We
my
have
potions
Tager.
Tiger's dog shit.
There you go,
bro.
buy more potions.
The bottomest tier. He can stall you out for an entire game for 80
How the fuck
seconds.
do you buy potions?
True, and he's still
He can
bottom tier.
win. He can cheese the entire
Oh,
roster,
And he's still dog shit tier. Isn't that
and
crazy?
he's still bottom tier
thank
since.
you.
God, I want to say Calamity Trigger. Like I think Calamity Trigger, he was okay, and but that was also the same game where Arcuna actually had a TOD. So
Maybe I just
Speaking
want
of
to
Calamity
Calamity Trigger
point.
and like new versions of games.
Drop
Now
the
that we don't
top
do
one.
new versions of games
Well, I
for
just
our
guessed
little
better. Oh, you
updates,
just guessed
instead we
better.
do
That was
patch
wild.
notes.
Fucking-
If you had to think about like
That was wild.
the worst
That was all
possible
about
patch
social.
note in recent
No,
history,
that was me.
what are you landing on?
the worst pot. Whoa.
I lose that. Huh?
That's an insanely
I
hard
don't know
question
why
to
I thought
answer
you
on the
pressed
spot.
literally
I
everything
want to,
on that.
because it's most recently in my mind. I think the most SF6 had probably like the most hit and miss patch notes I've seen, because a lot of the
How the
changes
fuck
don't
can
even
I
seem
back
evident. The
dash?
Bison change is not
I
evident.
need to learn how to use
The
my action goal in this game.
the meter changes are
Actually.
apparent on Guile and
I'm
Ed,
throwing
but
I'm
like
just, I'm just throwing it out there.
other
Like,
than that, it was
I
just
didn't
like a lot of
learn
like that. Like
anything.
Luke now doesn't push as far when he
I'm
hits
getting a
you.
lot for
Cool,
somebody that's
you
just
know.
throwing it out.
Sweet.
I'm sure the Luke players are happy because he got
It's not-
nerfed
it's
pretty
obviously
hard,
not
but.
a good thing. I just need
Good
to
game.
learn.
Dhalsim apparently had changes. No one knows what they were really.
Yeah, whatever. It's
all the
man.
all the two Dhalsim players
Still two
are.
of them.
I respect that. I just need to learn.
They're
how to do it.
rejoicing or crying.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
think-
sick.
I can't say what the worst patch note is, but I will say the one game that needed the most patch notes and didn't get them in time was Dungeon Fighters.
Okay. DNF Duel.
DNF Duel, yep.
That's fair.
DNF Duel really needed like patch notes, like I don't know, 2 months in, 3 months in, and nothing. I think it was it 6 months or like 9 months until they actually got their first patch.
It was like
it was long enough for the game to die.
Yeah, that game suffered from a lack of communication, a lack of patch notes, and a lack of content, which is not good for fighting games. You need.
So I would say like
Yes.
I don't know about bad patches, but I definitely think not patching is worse.
I don't know if I call it a reversal. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because then it's the same thing for that entire time. People like change,
right? And you could consider the base game technically a patch because it's a version edition.
Right.
I was like, oh, I have another.
I could say with no uncertainty, and I know some people are going to disagree with this one. Some people are going to go upsetty spaghetti. But holy fuck, what was Arxis cooking with Guilty Gear Strive 3.0? Wild Assault hard knockdown on wall break? Please. What the fuck were you thinking? That shit
it made the game. I will say it did make the games very much samey.
You were still in
where
what?
Everything was homogenized.
They homogenized the game too much for a fighting game to be like that.
This is exactly what the game was. This was the game state for those that don't know. So for Guilty Gear Strive, when you get somebody into a corner, unlike in other fighting games, when you hit people, there's a wall health. After enough walled health damage, your opponent will stick to the wall. Generally speaking, if you just hit the opponent through the wall,
we don't care.
You guys will go flying through the wall. It'll reset like round start position. But if you hit them with a super, when they go through the wall, they go into a hard knockdown state and you're standing, and it's still round start like position away from each other. But you get to act first, right? What they had added is a mechanic called Wild Assault. And Wild Assault would use some of your burst meter, which is to like get people off of you or whatever. But you could use it to do a forward momentum move to continue your attack. It did different things depending on the character, but that's generally how it was used.
Oh, please stop fucking recording.
That also allowed you to get a hard knockdown off of what is that wall splat. The problem with this is whenever you do get a wall splat, if you're the one that caused it, right, and you're the one in advantage state, you get positive bonus. Positive bonus gives you both your tension meter for supers and RCs, as well as burst meter back.
Against you.
So the game literally just evolved into whoever gets a touch at round start does combo and Wild Assault into wall stick, and then does a Wild Assault or a super if
yes,
they
I
have
definitely
by that time for a hard knockdown. And then you loop it because you have such oppressive pressure off of positive bonus, including your offensive stab. Like it was a fucking mess. It was a fucking mess. It was miserable. All the games were the same. Characters who were all rounders got a massive power boost. Like the whole thing, it was terrible. It was genuinely terrible for the health of the game.
That's definitely right.
And it was way too long, entirely too long.
On the plus side, Gold Lewis was a tournament stomper, so a lot of that player base was super happy.
Nobody was happy about that shit. Every single Gold Lewis player would win, and they would just be like,
they
"I'm
would
so
white
sorry."
wall assault you, and you're stuck. You're not playing the game for 20 seconds.
They would literally just be like, "I'm so sorry, my character's dumb.
My character's dumb, not broken, just dumb. Just dumb.
It's dumb."
Gold Lewis players got to eat for a whole 9 months or 10 months or so.
I don't want to talk about it.
And then we took away the plate, and they just have forks and knives now.
It's okay. This is gonna age badly, but I'm gonna say this: Patch 4 is gonna be the best patch for Guilty Gear so far. It's gonna age badly. I know. Shut up. I don't care.
I can clip it. I can quote him on it.
Okay, it's gonna be the best
beautiful
patch.
I could pay physical money to put it on a billboard, and no one's gonna know what it's about. But it's funny.
This is my hopium. This is my copium. It's gonna be the best Guilty Gear patch we've seen. October 31st, the Dizzy patch, patch 4, the balance change. It's gonna be goated.
So are you gonna be grinding Dizzy every day, or are you gonna just take it at face value, play a couple sets online, get a feel for the character, maybe lab it for an hour?
It's a great question. So my hopes and my goals here with this is I will be dual maining both Dizzy and Ramlethal, as I don't think I could after everything I've been through with Ram, I don't think there's any world in which I drop her. So I'll be running both. But yeah, I will be the first couple days I'll be grinding, and then I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do my 15 to 30 minutes of practice per day just to stay sharp, and then I'm gonna steal all the tech I can steal, and then I'm gonna do my usual silly labbing shit to find my own vibe. Because you know me, I don't tend to play the most optimized or the way everybody else is playing. I play very much based on feel and how I want to play a character.
Right, and you check the mental stack mid game, hopefully as best you can.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I
always
I'm a psychopath.
people hate me. I always do something different because I'm just bored.
I agree.
But you know what? Sometimes it's really funny when I do the same thing.
I won't grab for a fourth time.
5 grabs?
No.
Who would ever do such a thing? I don't know if I'm gonna try anyone different for the patch. I think I'm gonna stick with what I have for now, and then if something seems fun in patch notes, I'll try it.
Oh, so you've got a pretty nice ensemble.
I have such a bad habit of just sitting in training mode for hours on end every day.
Yeah, you got to go play.
I've gotten better about it more recently, but now it's just like I play a few matches. I'm like, all right, I'm tired of the netcode gameplay.
I get you. I really do recommend taking your mods off though and see if that helps. There's something.
I don't have any mods on. My game runs fine. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I haven't had mods in a while.
Damn. Yeah, I recently took mine off and it's been a much better experience.
For those who don't know, the mods we're talking about are aesthetic mostly.
Yeah, for Guilty
sound files and images.
Guilty Gear Strive, you can change pretty much the look of anything, the sound of anything. It's nice.
Yeah. It's not like MVCI, where if you change something about a character, Dude, I learned this the other day, or even I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, I learned this from Maximilian. Week 1 was the most broken week ever because you could pick the same character twice in MVCI.
That's insane. On launch?
On launch, within a week, it was found that you could mess with the files and have the same character locked in twice. So you could have double Dante or double Zero.
Damn, they really shipped it like that, huh? That's
yeah,
nuts.
well, so their patch for it was you need to have this character in, or else the game will not launch.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it has in exe security, so it will just boot you out of the game entirely if you're doing that.
Damn.
Which really screws over the modding community more so than the people who are abusing it. Personally, I would have left it in as a feature because that's interesting, right?
Imagine rocking up to a tournament and you just have to go against 2 Dantes. Good luck.
Dude, it's 2 Ghost Riders and they're just riding their motorcycles into the sunset together.
Staring at each other's eyes.
It's 2 Thanoses screaming, "My load!" as they die.
Whatever. As long as Thanos doesn't have the Thanos bubble from MVC2, we're chilling.
I love Tyrant's Decree. I actually like MVCI Thanos. It's super sad. I just don't want to play MVCI.
I don't blame you. Me either.
He also doesn't look like good enough to be Thanos. Why is he blue?
You know,
how did they mess up the color wheel?
I don't know.
Do I gotta go in there?
One job.
I gotta hit the bucket fill on his face and just make him purple? Like,
bro, they literally had one job. All they had to do was look at a grape, and they would have been fine. You ever seen Barney before? All right.
I don't want blueberry Thanos. I want Welch's.
Exactly. Character designs, man, they're important.
Man, I swear, it's my favorite thing is just go in training mode and grind. I love grinding combos. I love grinding routes. I should practice more wake up stuff, though. On block stuff. Frame trapping is important, too. Yeah. Frame trapping is like the hugest thing to learn once you get like B&Bs down and like simple game mechanics.
I think it's definitely important to like, because there's always like your level 1, right? There's your level 1 game plan, your level 1 offense. You know, if I get a hit here, I do this combo. If I get them in blocks, in block stun, I do this. I go for a grab here. Frame trapping, you can use that for part of your level 1.5, your level 2. But yeah, I think And you mentioned it before. It's really, really fun to lab. It's really, really nice to, find different combos, different interactions between characters, how to deal with certain setup situations. But let's face it, in my opinion, if you're not getting out there and playing the games, you're not getting in the reps against other players.
Oh yeah, the first part of getting good at a fighting game is actually booting the fighting game.
Yeah,
I think
play the
I
damn
think
game.
most of us have a collection that just says fighting game on it, and there's 40 titles, and we're like, which one do we fucking?
Yeah,
I speak for a lot of people here.
I'm so guilty of that. I only lost because your carried folder has 42 titles in it right now. Yeah, I'm a collector of fighting games at this point. And
I mean, there's worse things to collect.
yeah, out of all of those, I have exactly 3 games over 60 hours. So let that math for you.
I have games that aren't on Steam that are actually counted, so
Fair
it's
enough.
fair. Do you count Devil May Cry as a fighting game? Man, I have so many.
I mean, no,
It might as well be.
that's an action game.
There's mods.
Sure. Is there a 1v1 mode?
Yes.
Fine. It has a fighting game section. We'll take it.
Yes. We win one.
We'll take it.
We
sure.
take those.
We take the.
I never tried that mod. It's a funny mod. It enables co-op as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would argue that like knowing your frame data on your moves is really important. Like Slayer 5K is 5 frames.
Nah.
It's really good.
Nah, frame data is a state of mind. I'm
Frame data is a
only
state-
negative if I'm not positive. That's all.
You're
it
always
is.
negative online. That's the sad truth.
This
And then
shit
Slayer.
feels hella positive and it's just even.
And his 2P is 6 frames. So it's good to know these things.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't. Min-maxing it gets like a tedious chore of what is the frame data on that move they just did. You're checking every character. At which point you might as well just learn every character the old-fashioned way.
You could.
But I do think that knowing the difference between some frames and other frames is important on block more so than anything else.
Yeah, sure, why not? Especially for like a new player, just knowing like, okay, what are my main buttons I'm going to be pressing into people on block, and what am I safe to do as a block, like a block stun ender, right? Like a block string ender. That's what I was looking for.
Yep, what can I cancel into, and are they doing any special kind of blocking that pushes me away? Because that changes, the route, the string.
Yeah.
But if you're at a point in the game where you can react to that, you're sitting very pretty, because now you're doing cancel into dash, cancel into jump in. You can do cancel command grab. There's so many things you could do on like a weird block fuzzy situation.
Right, and at that point, your game knowledge is going to be deep enough that you can make those calls and adjustments as needed, or at least go to training mode to find new things and have an understanding of why. Should be at
I
least.
do more damage if I open you up while you're blocking. That's crazy.
That's
Why is this?
fucking insane.
Guilty Gear is a punishing game, even if you're blocking.
I mean, Dizzy can just take 60, 70% of your health.
Dizzy
When you're
can
blocking.
send tension. I hope we can cancel that with hit. It'd be really
You can.
bad
Yeah,
if
yeah,
we
you can hit it out of it.
They didn't mention it, but man, that's scary.
I kind of hope you can FD it. I don't think you can, but hope you. I know I was sitting here asking for Dizzy to be top 1. We'll see when all the shit comes out, how all the characters are.
I'll be honest, she looks like a very mid-rangey Asuka that doesn't want to be full screen.
Yeah. I mean,
That's fine.
how many mid dispensers do we need?
She
How many-
plays more like Foss than Asuka, and that's a good thing, in my opinion. Granted, it's Foss with an Eno projectile, but yeah. We take those some.
Said no. Now another one. Cancel that. Another one.
Man. I mean, like, there's do's and don'ts, right? Like, jumping in, sometimes it's just not worth it. Street Fighter, stop jumping. Don't jump. Don't jump unless you know they're going for grab.
I mean, well, here's the thing. If they're not anti-airing you, go crazy. Go crazy. If they're showing they can't anti-air you, jump on their asses. Because, I mean, why limit your approach options if your opponent is showing they're incapable of dealing with your movement? there's people out there, you know, they can't press too heavy punch, too heavy, crouching heavy fierce. Can't do it. It's literally impossible for them.
We don't all play on pad as Guile. Come on.
I know. There's times though in Street Fighter, that's one of the it's one of those games where I'll press an anti-air button and I'll be like, that motherfucker was 2 millimeters to the left. You got to be shitting me. My anti-air did not connect. That sends me to the moon every time. I'm like, this motherfucking game.
I think it was funnier to watch you use Zangief's anti-air suit. Because, man, you were not grasping it. And I'm like, dude, just use it in combo. It's fine there. You don't need to use it in neutral.
Well, I mean, if they're jumping in on me and my character model is doing the anti-air super and touching them, it's physically touching them. To me,
an air command grab. It's fine.
I know.
Air command grab. It does the same damage, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
It's a counter hit every time.
I get it, but the super would have been funnier. That's all.
Spending the cash in the wrong places. I do think, like, his is very pinpoint. In the case of Potemkin, it just auto connects, even if you're sliding on the ground. But
yeah.
Zanky, man, that was a change they made.
That's going back to do's and don'ts. Yeah, if you see something's not working, maybe don't keep doing it. I mean, sometimes if you're like, I can get away with it this time because the mental stack's been, you know, loaded onto my opponent, sure, go for it. But if you're playing against somebody and they've shown every time you throw out a button, they're 6P'ing it or they're doing something to stop you from doing that one specific interaction from that set distance away from them. Yeah, just stop doing that for a couple seconds. Do something else.
You know what I do against good players? And it's really funny every time. I just walk at them. I don't dash.
Nope.
I don't jump. I just walk.
Sometimes you could just stand there and look at them.
And I wait for an animation to come out of their character model before I press anything.
Why not?
Sometimes you can just look for the reaction instead of, sending it 24/7. Because sending it 24/7 means you're opening up at some point in time.
Yeah, you're taking all the risk, right? And if a good player is letting you take all the risk, they're gonna find the cracks in your armor. They're gonna blow you up for it. So sometimes inaction is your best action. Or
Now, don't ever stand still. If you can move. Because standing still is the best sentence.
I mean,
in almost every fighting game.
But also, it's kind of funny to just stand there and look at them sometimes and confuse them and throw them off. That just gets into mind games. But yeah,
you're just crouching in the corner, looking each other deep in the eyes, waiting for you to press light punch.
Crouching punch. Crouching punch.
All right. Oh man. Do's and don'ts. If you're clashing with an opponent, just keep clashing.
Just keep doing. Yeah. Okay.
Just don't listen. You only lose if you stop.
You stop clashing. See, I'm the.
And if they do something different, they lost.
Yep, they lost.
They lost.
No, if you're clashing, mash on your invincible reversal super.
Sure, you can cancel any normal into super.
Yep. That never goes poorly. They'll never block. Don't worry about it. They'll never block. You'll be fine.
They should be committed.
They're gonna commit, so you'll be all right.
What's wild is if they do it at the same time as you and they clash on super. That's the best part.
Oh man, I think most games will force you to do like one and then another now, though.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell. Like, we know Guilty Gear lets you keep going. Blaze Blue lets you keep going as well, I believe. You can just infinitely clash in Blaze Blue.
True. Yeah, I think all Arxis games you can, including French.
I'm pretty certain not. Can you clash in Dragon Ball Fighters?
I don't know.
There's so much on-screen clutter that I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think you can.
It's been a minute since I've watched anything on that, to be honest.
I think most 2D fighters have clashing. When you get to 3D fighters, I believe it is not there anymore, though, sadly.
I think my biggest don't for fighting games is don't try to improve on multiple things at once.
Focus down.
Yeah, what you should do as a player is keep notes, right? If you're like, I'm constantly, air dashing in at this specific angle all the time and getting hit because of it, write it down and then like prioritize for your next practice session. Okay, so today I'm trying to, this new B&B I learned, we just want to hit this today. That's all we're working on. and then you just keep practicing until you can do it consistently without having to think about it, and then you move on to the next thing. And then once everything kind of becomes subconscious and just baked into you, it doesn't affect your mental stack. But if you're like, okay, they're jumping in. I need to press 2H to hit them when they're at this angle, 6P for this angle. And then whenever Faust throws his item, I should do this. And when this, like, calm down. Your mental
you
stack.
just jump whenever Faust throws his item. That's the easy answer.
It's not always true, but yeah.
That's not multiple choice on the test. If you see anything, the only thing that can hit you is hammer, jump, and meteor, I guess. But don't worry about meteor. You're blocking if it's meteor usually anyway.
Yeah, you just gotta hold that.
You just gotta hold that.
But in general, like one thing at a time. If you're trying to do all the things, you're not going to be able to play your normal game plan as it is because you're going to be thinking about too much shit, and it's just not going to happen. So it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how good you think you are. You have a mental stack. You're going to overload it, and you're going to play like dog shit. And it'd be like, I'm not getting any better. This is ass. I'm just going to go focus on combos. And you're going to be stuck in the same place forever. Yeah.
On the flip side, it's good to learn your B&Bs and combos.
Mm-hmm.
It is very good to learn your B&Bs and combos. As a matter of fact, I do not recommend, just because say you land, 15 hits and like, cool, they're at like 25% HP, but none of those hits were consecutive. So you lost a lot of like value on like small hits.
Mm-hmm. So it's do you win neutral 20 times to win the game, or do you win neutral 3 times to win the game? Which one's better?
Absolutely.
Right.
3 times, every time.
Right, exactly.
And if you have to spend the cash to do it, you still get that extra round or that extra space to breathe.
Damage is damage.
Remember that there's always 3 rounds in every fighting game pretty much, so you always have time to breathe in between rounds. So if you have to spend it in round 1, it's always worth it. Now, if you spend it and lose, that's unfortunate. But
it is unfortunate.
It's still a gamble worth betting into.
I think for new players, you should always remember, if you're like truly new to fighting games, have one easy B&B you can always do, one easy bread and butter you can always do on the ground, in neutral, like in the middle of the screen or in the corner. Know your anti-air button. What happens if somebody's jumping in on you? What do you press? That's like, you need to have those 2 things. If you don't have those 2 things, you're going to be like a lot of the low bronze players, a lot of the floor 4s. You're always going to struggle. If you could do those 2 things and you can anti-air like 50, 60, 70% of the time, you're going to see yourself improving and ranking up faster than people in your pool. It's the fact of the matter.
And then to quantify what an easy B&B is, you can do it with your eyes closed if it's easy.
Yeah. Like Guilty Gear Strive, an easy combo example is close slash, far slash or crouching slash, heavy slash, special or super. It's 4 buttons. And out of those 4 buttons, 2 of them are the same. Slash and slash, heavy slash, and then a combination for like, a special or super. Very, very simple. Street Fighter, it's like fucking crouching medium punch into special. Like start there. Every character has a target combo, I think. Like for Cammy.
Isn't it crouching punch and then it's command normal special, right?
Sure, but I mean
the basic kind of diagram of how Street Fighter combos work.
Street Fighter's linking is a bit weird for some new players.
Street Fighter's linking is very odd from other 2D fighters.
Yeah.
It's something I should really like clarify.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, pretty much all of them have like a target combo they can special cancel into as well. Not everybody, but most characters. Like Cammy's is like heavy punch, kick or something. You can do like spiral arrow or super after that. You can live off that all the way through platinum. It's not hard.
Very true. Some characters are like Jury, and it's just all special inputs, and you're just like your stick's going places.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Your 236 is going places, I should say.
Trying to.
Listen, hitbox players. Your snack boxes.
Well.
Your Potemkin boxes. I love that box.
That's pretty cool.
That box should be in the Hall of Fame.
Should be like a page dedicated to like wild fight sticks.
That's really good. The pizza. It's just the fact that it's on a pizza box makes me laugh every time.
It's really good. Bonus points for every grease stain.
Man, I mean, sliding your hand over every button is so good because it's just like you don't got to buffer anything. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit the 7 or 9 after doing your quarter circle to get the short hop.
Nope.
I do like that in games when like the buffering feels clean for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear has a weird issue where if you do a half circle, you need to input a directional afterwards after letting you reset to get the cancel. With the exception of like Potemkin's car cancel, I think, right?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've bumped into that. Maybe I have.
Because with Slayer, right, if you do command grab car cancel, you have to go either up from neutral after the half circle, or you need to go to 9 or 7 to input it. At least that's the only way I've gotten it to work on stick. It's a little bit easier on pad and hitbox because you just press up right on your thumb button.
Yeah, you just smack it real quick.
You just smack it real quick and it happens. Yeah.
Instant feedback, go burr.
Man. It's still better than games with bad input buffering. KOF, I still can't get behind it.
You leave KOF's name out of your motherfucking
wanna like
mouth.
KOF, but man, the buffering feels worse than Street Fighter.
I think it's slower than you think it is. That's the thing.
I don't think it's slower.
I think it is. I've noticed when I go to other games from Guilty Gear, I input entirely too fucking fast. I had this problem in Street Fighter. I had this problem in Uni. Had it with every single game I've touched.
It could be a Blaze Blue issue because there are fast inputs in Blaze Blue. I think Central Fiction is actually better than Continuum Shift was because it doesn't feel as fast as it used to.
That's good though. I mean, I'd rather have like a kind of jacked up buffering system.
Oh, absolutely. I want a hit to come out and then I can buffer for like the next 6 frames. Like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom is still going to be my favorite game for buffering because things just come out. The only time you're doing crazy fast inputs is with flight cam. That's it. That's the only time.
Listen.
Everything else is just. It feels like butter. Does it feel like butter? Street Fighter does not feel like butter. Street Fighter feels like margarine that's been frozen for too long.
It's a little clunky. As long as it doesn't feel like, plus R, I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Plus R there is no buffer. You're in the thick of it. You're going.
That Sidewinder high score is a beautiful thing.
I'm never. I would have gone mad trying to hit the Sidewinder off the wall that many times. I would have lost.
Was the record 13 or 16? It's up there.
I don't remember. It was Noah JD, right?
Possibly.
Or am I tripping?
It's a work of art to see Soul just kind of
Sidewinder
fly up the screen slowly. Because
you
gotta go up a little higher every time. It's not the same frame.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Is there anything philosophy-wise to touch up on?
There is. I mean, but like, I kind of want to talk about archetypes in another video, another podcast, because
character design, maybe.
Yeah, character design and archetypes, and then some other things. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, I would rather. I think we're probably pretty good there. I still think the whole like developers not paying attention to pro players as much as they want is hella funny to me. Because ultimately developers are trying to sell units, right? Devs are trying to have fun with the game. They're trying to bring in new players. I know we touched on this before, but it always makes me laugh.
You can't bring in new players if the pros are like, this is broken, don't play the game until they fix it. Yeah. Right. And because it's mob mentality, right? At the core aspect of the game, mob mentality. It's why Ram got nerfed. It's why Vikings got nerfed to hell.
Yeah, see, we say that, but then it just like, I don't know. It seems like every patch just brings in more players, more new players regardless. And it's not every fighting game is this fortunate, but like Street Fighter's doing fine. Guilty Gear's doing fine. You
People
know?
like Rashid. No one's gonna nerf him.
Yeah. Dude says, "Here we go," or whatever the fuck it is. Drops a tornado, spins on you.
Like thunder. He
twerks
actually
in the
says something
corner.
really. That's one of Thor's lines.
Crazy.
Yo, if Rashid starts saying "Buy Odin's beer," I'm done.
Run them pockets, bitch. Steals the set from you. No biggie. It's fine.
And everyone knows the answer to the tornado. It's just no one likes it.
Yeah, but okay, even if you know the answer, that doesn't mean you're gonna beat it. That's
Oh
the thing.
no, you have to perfect block it as soon as it's on top of you, and then you're like, all right, what are we doing? He's jumping. Okay, do I super? Do I?
Well,
I don't know
you
what
still
to
gotta
do.
guess. That's the thing.
Yeah, the decision paralysis in the just block or the perfect block is like,
Yeah.
but they'll figure it out someday.
Shit's so ass, man. I played against Rashid. He was like tornado, and I was like, all right, GG's. I'm just gonna hold this round, I guess. It's fine.
Shake my hand.
Yeah. Text 3 throws in a row.
You got hit with the Virgin Daigo status. What a stupid shit post that was.
I'll put that up on screen, I guess. Jesus.
Man, give Daigo a break. He just got out of prison.
I think that's all from me.
That's all for me, too. I mean, we got Guilty Gear patch 4.0 coming out in a couple days.
So
Today's the 28th for this podcast. Look
Yeah.
forward to that. We got Corrupt has a demo. We didn't mention it last podcast, but there's a demo for a fantastic fighting game. Feels very much like Marvel in terms of movement, and the combos are 1v1, so it's not going to be like assists flying around constantly. So you have set play going on with Marvel movement. So check that out. It looks
That is
pretty
pretty
good on
cool.
Unreal 5. What else we got?
Well, Hunter
think was
Hunter
it.
got pushed back, so we can go fuck ourselves there. That's cool, I guess. There's still hope for Fatal Fury, though. That might come out on time. I need,
We got Mouse Girl and Grand Blue.
yeah,
For
Iron
those
Mouse.
of you who enjoy your silly
she's,
Dr. Slump characters.
she's a terror. I'm not trying to fight that thing. Fucking set play bonanza over here.
And I believe there's Rivals of Aether 2, right? Is that still in beta, or is that
That just
finally
dropped. Yeah, it's
That just dropped, yep. If you like Smash, you're going to love Rivals of Aether. It looks phenomenal compared to the original. No more pixel art, but...
I do hope they drop the workshop again, though, after like year 1 or something. That'd be nice.
Oh, yeah. And then the only other thing I can think of is keep an eye. Maximilian said he wants to drop it by the end of this year, hopefully. So MVCI is getting the visual beautification update.
Yeah.
So the game doesn't look, terrible, and they fix a lot of the clutter.
Yep. They did a lot of work on it, so that'll be very, very cool. Keep in mind, MVCI goes on sale often, like quite a bit. So I wouldn't buy it at full price. I would wait for it to go on a sale, snag it while it's on sale. And it doesn't just go on like 20% either. It's like deep cuts. So if you're relatively interested in that project, definitely give that a purchase. The mod itself will be drag and drop, so you won't have to do a lot of crazy file related stuff. You just drop it right into the source folder. You'll be good to go.
Make sure your DLC is installed beforehand, though,
Yeah,
because overlapping files get a little wacky.
it's true. This is very true.
Oh, all right. It has been a pleasure, Lucky.
Yeah.
Same time next month.
Yeah, same time next month, because I'm gonna get sick again within 4 to 5 business days. So yeah, for sure. No, I'm still not 100%, but I mean, as long as I don't get cooked by all this soup of viruses that's going on and bullshit, we should be back on regular schedule.
Don't worry, we'll have a vaccine within 3 to 5 business years.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Shuckle. Thank you all for sticking around to the end. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of your evening.
Stay safe in the corner and keep blocking.
Don't get crossed up, dipshit. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. So, you're good.
Go on. Oh!
I'm cutting that. Don't you worry.
Oh, no. Leave it in. I want to leave the 50-50 in. No.
The one thing fighting game players can't fucking win the 50-50 on is the handshake after the set. Ain't no way, bro. I'm
Oh, you
done
always
with
throw
you, man.
scissors when they throw a rock.
You have to.
Yeah, especially if you lose.